Well, hello, and welcome to ZBrush Live. We are in very hot weather in LA, so I'm going to try and see how far I can go today. But before we do anything, if you guys in the chat could let me know if you can see my screen and hear me okay. And we can get going. In the meantime, same kind of disclaimers in the beginning. Like, subscribe, and do all the internet things. And if you have any questions, you can ask during the stream. And if you have questions and you're watching this after the live stream, you can always leave them in the comments, and hopefully somebody will get back to you with the answers. So with that out of the way, can you guys hear me okay? Let's just make sure you can before we continue. There's quite a few of you on, so hopefully somebody will say something soon. All right, I think there might be a little bit of a delay. I am having some internet problems. I should just disclaimer out of the way. I have been having internet weird slowdowns and speed ups, so hopefully that will not be an issue today, and if it is, I'll apologize. I have a call into my ISP, and hopefully they will do something about it. But as of now, I see the internet speed is pretty decent, going down, and let's see what it's like going up. And that's pretty decent too, so I think we're doing okay as far as internet speed is concerned. So if you guys can chime in and let me know if you can hear me, we can go ahead and get started on continuing on this Mech. All right, so nobody is saying anything on the stream. I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. Looks like the KBBS is good. It's green. Everything looks good. Where is everybody? Let me see the settings again. Here we go. Somebody chimed in. Okay, good. So somebody on YouTube said we're good. That's great. So that's one down. How about anybody on Twitch? Hearing me okay? Let me know. And then, all right, so we've got somebody saying good morning. Yeah, we're 7 p.m. here. What time is what time of the morning is your time zone? All right, still don't have a Twitch okay, but I'm assuming it's going to be good. I'll wait a few more minutes here and then get going. If there's a delay, I wonder if there's a really bad delay. 7 a.m. Geez Louise. Well, thank you for waking up early, and I'm assuming it's 7 a.m. on Saturday, so thank you for waking up early on a Saturday to watch my stream. Okay, so nobody from Twitch is saying anything. I don't know where they are, or if there is anybody from Twitch. Let me see here. I think there are. I don't know what's going on. Man, I've got quite a few people on here. Oh, I almost kicked somebody because their name was one letter away from a dangerous name. All right, so okay, still nobody from Twitch. I guess I'm assuming it's okay, or somebody would say something. I'll go ahead and get started. We're about, I'll wait one more minute. How about that? Till 7:05. Well, it's 7:05. Okay, that's it. I'm starting. Okay, so we're kind of moving along. I still, again, am not getting big chunks of time to work on this, but I did get a little bit of time last night, so I did a few things here on this front leg over here. I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's hide some of these things. And I don't need to see the top arms or these arms or the legs. So these, I did a little bit of work. I added these little hoops from my Kitbash kit. which I kind of like, but I might do a little bit more with them today. And then just kind of still working on this one. I don't know why, but for some reason this one leg here is the one that is kind of the most interesting to me, so I've been spending a lot of time on it. I don't know why. I'm sure there's maybe some subliminal reason. Just want to make sure this thing's sticking out like as much as the other ones are. Alright, here we go. That's good. It's kind of looking weird from the back, but I'll see if I can make that work with a rotation. See it from the front. Maybe I'll rotate it a bit this way, move it up. All right, still have not heard anybody from Twitch say anything. Last time it was really lively. Last stream I did was very lively, but this time around, it's kind of on a 3-day weekend here in the US, so a lot of people are not at home, and maybe a lot of people are just kind of dealing with this massively horrible heat wave that we are having. So, I don't know. But there seems to be enough same number of people on, so I don't know. Maybe people are just not talkative today. Alright, I think this is going to be it for that placement. And then for this guy over here, what I want to do is yeah, this transition here is kind of weird, so I'm going to pull this out, see if I can. Now it kind of looks better. Let's see. I think this is good this way. Yeah, it's a very quiet time today, which is fine. We don't always have to be talking. Only thing we have to be doing is me doing this work, which is kind of what I earmark Friday afternoons for, or Friday evenings for, so I just need to make sure I'm doing this. Hey Federico, how's it going? So another person from YouTube, I'm assuming you can hear me okay too, but still have not gotten a single person from Twitch to chime in. Alright, what's new? Let's see. I watched the, so 2 new shows, kind of fantasy shows for those of you that like fantasy stuff. The Game of Thrones one is going on, so that started I think 2 episodes in. And then yesterday I watched 2 episodes of the Lord of the Rings show that's on Amazon. And both of those were kind of good and kind of not kind of, I mean, I wasn't blown away. Let me kind of say that. There were a couple of really interesting scenes with dragons in both of them. Well, I guess dragons and eagles in the Lord of the Rings one. But I think they're kind of building up, both of them are. So it's kind of still too early to tell whether they're going to be super good or if they're going to be okay, just okay. So, but of course I will definitely be watching both of those. And let's see, what else? There hasn't been a good movie lately. I wanted to go see Bullet Train, but I don't know. I didn't go see it. Oh, there is one I might go see tomorrow, which is the same guy that did Mad Max has a new movie out, so I might go see that. Okay, so we have one person that's a fan of Lord of the Rings. Well, this is not Lord of the Rings. Of course, Lord of the Rings itself is amazing, absolutely, no doubt. But this is kind of, it's called, what is it called? The Rings of Power, something like that. And so it's kind of in the same world. It's got some of the same characters, although different actors. It's way before Lord of the Rings, even before The Hobbit. So it's kind of a prequel. I don't know what's going on with this thing where it's like acting really strange. Can this be all of this as one part? All right, I need to break this up into separate parts. So maybe this part right here could be its own thing. And hopefully that'll make it a bit easier. Split hidden. All right. Okay, that's good. And let's go back off of solo. Thought I accidentally pressed expose, but I didn't. Yep, that's much faster. I'm just kind of creating a little bit of a better transition here, I think. All right, let's see. Series is very good. Yeah, okay. I agree with you. I haven't seen it as being bad at all. I didn't say that at all and wouldn't. But I'm just saying it's early and they're developing things. I mean, you know, Game of Thrones was amazing in the first 7 seasons, and then they had to go ahead and kind of make it funky at the end. Although I think it was kind of not too bad. 4,000 years before. Okay, so there's somebody who's kind of a connoisseur in this. And I think they might have even said it. I just didn't pay attention at the time. So, yeah. It's kind of a, you know, it's a really great world. I'm glad that they're revisiting it. I think there's more to be done in that universe, definitely. And they are saying this is just the first season, so they will have more. And I'm sure it'll be successful. And I'm glad they didn't just kind of release the whole thing at once. I kind of like it just having to wait a little bit. It'd be nice if they released it 2 episodes at a time, but I think they're just going to do 1 at a time. Kind of like The Expanse. Right. This isn't inner. This is actually all outside. It's the arm, and I think I'm really happy with this area. I need to do one more thing here. I kind of meant to do it. I think I did it and then didn't save, but I just need to lift this part up a little bit. Here we go, like that. And then I need to find something to put inside here. So maybe I'll do that next. And then there's this weird dent over here. I don't need that one. Wrong brush. Yeah, so I'm kind of happy with it, like all the way down to here. I think I'm going to do a few things with these pieces, and then maybe a few things with these nozzles at the end. All right. This transition here is actually not bad, so I'm just going to go around it just to make sure. Yeah, it's actually, it works. But this one right here, I think I can do a few things with. Possibly even pushing this back over here. All right, so let's see. Well, how's the 3 subdivision levels? Let's bring that down. And let's turn on polyframe. Let's see what we're working with. All right. Yeah, this has kind of got a weird little inlet over here. So let's see if I can just move this whole thing back in like this. And do this to it. It's so hot outside today. It was just so hot outside. I think today and tomorrow record-breaking heat days in LA. I don't know how it is where you are. I think Europe is kind of going through a little bit of a heat wave as well. So September seems to be kind of the worst month. It used to be August for some reason. Now it's September. All right. Quiet bunch today, not saying much, which again is fine. I might go quiet a little bit too, if you guys don't mind. So funny because this is what I would be doing tonight anyway. So A little bit of interaction is always fun. An audience is always fun. And I know that a lot of you watch this after the fact. Whoa, why is this separate? I think I might have separated it out. Yeah, I did. Where's the back one? Oh, the back one's up there. All right. Well, let me merge these down. Let's see here. This guy. Oh, here we go. Somebody from oh no, Twitch is. This is Oh, what's my YouTube channel? Okay, so Brandon, I'm not on my, I do have a YouTube channel, but this is not on my YouTube channel. This is on ZBrush Live or Pixelogic's YouTube channel. So let me get you that link so you have it. So you can see it in two different places. So you can either go to ZBrush Live. That's one place to see it. So here's the link to that. Come on. And then I also will do the, yeah, so this is this one, right? So you can see me and a lot of other amazing streamers on Pixelogic's ZBrush Live link. And then you can also go to Pixelogic's website as well, or their YouTube channel, and you can see it there too. So I think you were asking about a YouTube channel. So that's the YouTube channel right here. And it's not mine, it's Pixelogic's, but you can always go in and watch a bunch of different streamers and also announcements by the company and everything like that. Although there hasn't been much lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed that too. It's been really quiet. So I don't know if, I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that there will be a cool announcement at some point soon, but I don't know anything. I'm just kind of speculating and hoping. So here we go, merge down. Where are you? Merge down, okay. One of the projects I was working on at work finally shipped. So that was really fun and fulfilling, and I think I can show, I don't know if I can show it here on Pixelogic's channel, but it's cool stuff. And I think when I do my own YouTube, or not YouTube, but my own Twitch channel, I can share more of that stuff on there. But here I want to kind of keep things more ZBrush oriented. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. And this one was where I kind of, no, this one's looking okay. I fixed this one last time. All right, so that's good. And then these nozzles, I keep coming back to them because I want to do something good with them, but I've tweaked them up so much that they look kind of weird and twisted. I think they're just too high res. I wonder if I just get rid of these inner ones and put something else in there. I don't think I'm going to go for that. Here goes. I'm going to do this. Control-Shift-A. Invert it. And delete hidden. It's kind of a big feature gone off the Mech. And these things still look pretty decent, I think, for the most part. All right, let's see. Okay, somebody is sculpting a mech. Okay. Oh, really? Well, nice. I'm glad you. Yeah, I've done a mech. Like I've done a whole season where I did a whole other mech. You can watch that too after the fact. And yeah. Okay, cool, Brandon. You got it. Awesome. Yeah, I'm on every other Friday. So every other Friday night, I'm on. From 7 to 9 Pacific LA time, I guess, standard, or I don't know what the other one is, but yeah, I'm on Friday nights every other Friday, and I will be on every other Friday from now until November. So I kind of have my schedule up on ZBrush Live. You can watch it there, or you can see it there, and then you can set reminders and all that kind of good stuff. And I still haven't had time to do a Twitch stream yet. I still haven't had the bandwidth with everything that's going on with work. It's been super, super busy. All right, let's see what that looks like. Not bad, but not ideal either. Let's add some detail here, see if we can add some surface detail. Okay, is this the most? Yeah, I need to divide this a couple more times before I can do that. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be teaching next term at Gnomon. I don't know that yet. They're still determining that. But if I'm not, then that gives me more free time. So maybe the night that I do that, I teach, I'll do my Twitch stream instead. If I like this horizontal here, I'm going to go halfway. Bring this out at an angle. I don't know what that dialog box was. I shouldn't have dismissed it so fast. Yeah, that works much better. And then let's close this up. Let's go up this way. I'm just kind of creating a pseudo panel. I'll probably add something here afterwards. Okay. Yeah, still everybody's pretty quiet. I might have to redo something with this piece. We'll see. It's funny because I kind of was hoping this to be more of a sketch, but as it developed, it's becoming very, very cool. So I'm just adding more and more details to it. And I am looking to purchase a 3D printer at some point in the next 6 months. So when I do, I think I'm going to try and print this thing as well as a kind of a collectible. What's the polygon? It's probably horrible. It's probably like really horrendous. Let's see, what is it? Actually, it's not that bad. For just, it's about, I think I'm about 10 million right now for the whole thing, for everything, meaning the whole entire mech. So it's pretty, it's a lot, but it's not as, I thought it would be more than that. I honestly did. Let me close out the stroke menu here. Yeah, you can see it right kind of in that second section, the one on top. It's about 10,947,830 total polys, so it's not that bad. But it's this whole thing though, right? So it's all of these. And I think I've got some kind of I've got these builders too, which basically are just parts that, like that's 279, or yeah, it's about oh wow, I didn't realize that, yeah, 2 million parts are just in here. So if I get rid of these, so it'll be a lot less. Then, so 10 minus 2, that'll be around 8 million polys is what we're dealing with right now. And of course, I've got, this is all of it. And then I also have the person, and I do have the balloons. So all of these, whoa, what just happened? I think I accidentally turned everything off. Come on, everybody get everybody back on. accept these builders. So this is kind of the entire model. So this is about 8 million polys, which is a lot, but it also isn't really. But there are some low res pieces still in here, like you can kind of see. This is still low res. So by the time I'm done, it'll be all high res. I don't really have any limitations of how many polys I wanted this to be. So yeah. Where did these things come from? Where were you? Arms hanging. I guess I had some. Oh, I had some hidden pieces that came up. How about that? I think I'm gonna get rid of some of these guys. So I don't really need this piece that just came up. I don't think. Let me see. Kind of adds a cool little detail. But what about this one? I don't think I need that one at all. What's that? It's just, oh yeah, that's the inner, yeah, that was the inside part. This is what I started out with. So like things like this, I don't usually delete them. I just keep them in this builders folder. And it's just a place to kind of have these placeholders, just in case I need it for something else later, which I probably won't. And then I usually move this folder off of this tool and add it to another tool. So here we go. Let's go back up. See everybody. So yeah, the interesting thing we were dealing with was this piece that appeared that I'd hidden. And I don't know if I want to keep these or if I want to get rid of them. They might create some interesting end to the arms here. So let's see if I can get something interesting with them. If not, I'm going to get rid of them. Oh, they already intersected. Oh, that's a good sign. There we go. Like that. Let's just make sure they don't intersect. Okay. This is not working so far, and I don't know if I need like sharp claws or anything like that for this end, so they're gonna go away. Delete. Whoa. Man, I did something really horrible here, which is I deleted the folder that I was on. I wasn't on the part, I was on the folder. So a good way to recover from this is I'll just go ahead and open Tools from Project, and I'll just open this whole thing over again. And let's see if this is going to work. I should have saved it before, but that's okay. Well, I mean, I've been, I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm just gonna, I think Ortiz is your last name, so I'm just gonna say that I've been working on this thing for about 11 episodes now, so 11 times 2, about 22 hours, so it's taken a bit of time to do this. So it's been, you know, if you spend the time, you'll get it too. But one could practice core skills and tools, hearts as well. I don't know. You know, that's an interesting question, Shay. I don't know if they're. I mean, I think, you know, in the classes that I teach, I have very specific things that are specific to a class. Okay, so now I basically have 2 of these guys. So I've got one here and one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that arm from one of them to the other and then delete it. So I probably will have lost some of my work. So this is the hanging arms. This is the one I want, right? So I'm just going to copy this. I guess it doesn't really matter because the other one, shoot, I lost all the work that I did so far, but that's fine. It wasn't that long. How long? Half an hour's work. It's always, you know, kids always save, always be saving. All right, so this is the one where I don't think I made any changes to anything else. So I think I can just delete this whole thing. Delete all. Okay. And that's that. And the one we're going to be working on is this one right here. So we're going to do some of the things that we did already. I tell my students that when they encounter something like this, and they will encounter it quite a bit. So here I'm actually going to fix this issue so I don't do it again of deleting the folder by accident, and just choose the tool itself and not the folder. So have that be selected. And so I tell my students that, you know, if something like this happens, and something like this is going to happen definitely when you're working. So if it does happen, then that gives you the opportunity to do whatever you did better, right? So, and it is going to happen. I mean, whatever programs you work with, they're going to crash, and you are going to lose works. But it just gives you an opportunity to do a better version of what you were doing. And also, if you are on a very tight deadline, it basically hammers it in that you need to continue to save all the time, right? So make sure that you're always saving your project, so when you have a crash, or you do something like I did in ZBrush, which ZBrush is really forgiving, except with deleting tools. So if you delete a tool, that's why it gives you a warning. And that's the only thing you kind of need to, you know, make sure you double check before you click the OK button. All right. I think today is going to be one of the rare episodes where I am going to take a little break and just go kind of splash some cold water on my face because I'm melting. Yeah, so now it just basically gives me the opportunity to do this one a little bit, maybe a little bit better, spend a little bit more time. I know that some of the things that I did didn't work well, so it gives me a chance to just redo some of the things, and maybe I'll see things that I hadn't seen before. I think I started with fixing this thing, and I'm going to do these a lot faster too, if you guys don't mind, because if you want to see me do it slowly, you guys can go and watch me in the previous half an hour. So I'm going to try and see if I can get all this done in like the next 10-15 minutes. So do it in half the time, a third of the time. Okay, so let's see. It's easier to remake than to fix. It depends. It depends on it, but I've definitely heard that argument before too. Select this thing right here, and let's subdivide it. Or let's see, do we have dynamic subdivide on this? We can have it. Okay. And I think I did a bunch of work on this one, which I don't know if it made that big of a difference, but I'll do the same kind of thing. But I think I know I pushed and pulled things a little bit differently. I know I separated this out, so I'll do that again. And split. Hidden, there it is. And I know I kind of did some work with bringing some pieces out here, and I'll do that as well. All right, I'm just going to solo this. I'm going to kind of remove all the other pieces so they don't obstruct it. So arms, all these folders. Okay, and I'm just going to move this. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there, but I'm just going to make sure I select an object subtool here and not a folder, just in case I need to delete something. All right. Back to this, back to the back here. Yep, this is an area that I spend a little bit of time fixing, so I'm going to do that again. And it's a good exercise to see that if you catch the same issues that you did the first time around. But this is pretty obvious here that it needs to be fixed. I wish there's a way to kind of have that delete the folder thing kind of not give you just one warning, or have a way to like not have that warning never come up, because you're not going to delete folders that often, but you are definitely going to delete subtools often. So I'm just trying to match this outside part. And these were cables that I put in previous episodes, so I've kind of tweaked them quite a bit, pushed and pulled them quite a bit since we started with them. So they're still looking pretty good hard surface wise, but they also are looking a little bit worked. So I'm kind of trying to clean up some of the warpage. Let me see, is this kind of another one of those like million piece? Yeah, it is. Right. I can probably divide this into different pieces as well. Let's start with that. Split hidden. And yeah, another dangerous thing is clicking on delete hidden. That's another one where you basically, you can't bring it back. Well, I guess no, you can bring that one back. I take that back. All right. Yeah, you guys are still pretty quiet. I was thinking of rendering this thing. I mean, at some point I will. I'll probably, I don't know, today I wanted to get to painting it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's still a little bit of modeling that needs to be done. But I might start, oh man, look at that. I might start adding some color to it. Oh, this is still, you know what? Yeah, this is still kind of one of those Mondo pieces. All right, let's just kind of select all these guys. I want to separate these two out so it's not sluggish. ZBrush is not sluggish with it. I need select lasso for these guys. Split hidden. All right, so now this should be this shouldn't be as sluggish as it was before. Oh yeah, night and day. And again, this is kind of, you know, I'm nitpicking at this. I don't really need to be dealing with this kind of a detail, but it is observable. And again, if I'm going to 3D print it, it's going to be very observable. So a few more minutes here will make life much better. And I might not have taken this much care in the previous time I did this, but here we go. All right, let's look at it from different angles. Okay, it's looking good. I kind of have this pouching up a bit. It's kind of, I like it pouching up, but it's not really what it's supposed to do. And I got quite a bit of people watching. Hello everybody, welcome to ZBrush Live, and thanks for tuning in. Especially for the person that was tuning in at 7 a.m. Yikes. I think the only thing I watch at 7 a.m., and it's funny, I was talking about this with one of my students the other day, was I used to wake up at 7 a.m. To watch this one show that was on TV. This is before streaming and on demand and all that. But it was this animated version of, computer animated version of Starship Troopers. And it was actually pretty good for the day. All done in Lightwave. Yeah, see how this is kind of clashing with this piece? So I need to take that piece, unmask it, and move it around a bit. down. Is that a better thing, or up? I think up is better. There we go. Just kind of worried about this little bit of transition over here. So I kind of can't win. If I push it in, I guess I could push this one in too. That's the way to do it. Just propagate the change. Right. All right. Rico's Roughnecks, yeah, Sean, definitely. I think that is what it was called. I think it was called Rico's Roughnecks, or yeah, I don't know exactly what it was called, but yeah, I'm glad you watched it too. It's very rare to talk to people that have seen it. It was pretty good. There were some amazing mech designs in it, and it kind of ended abruptly. I don't think they ended it like, you know, I think they just kind of either ran out of money or the show wasn't really doing what it was supposed to do. One thing I did watch, which I highly recommend everybody watch, who is interested in this stuff, is Light and Magic on Disney Plus. It's a story of industrial light and magic, and man, does it bring back some memories. It kind of shows the transition of how things went from practical special effects to digital, and how people were fighting it. Same kind of stuff that's happening with AI now. People were like, oh, this is not good, this is not going to work, this is not this, this is not that. But it's really interesting to kind of see the transition of what happened. And we're going through a similar transition now with AI, where people are completely freaking out, especially those who are concept designers who paint. I think they were freaking out when photo bashing was a thing. I'm going to let this save. I think they were freaking out when photo bashing was a thing, and now they're freaking out again because of AI. It's so funny. They were freaking out about Photoshop at some point, so they're always freaking out about something. But yeah, production is definitely going to change a little bit because of AI, but also I think it's going to just incorporate some new tools. All right, so while this is doing its things, I'll do a quick search of Rico's Roughnecks and see if I can find some images to show you guys. Yeah, here we go. I mean, it's so funny because now it looks so bad, but at the time, so this is what the kind of the poster looked like. And I do have these as DVDs, by the way, just so I have them. But you can kind of see here they had some really interesting looking ships, and at the time, like this CG, which looks so primitive now, this CG was a big deal. I guess here are some of the models from it. Yeah, this was like, you know, top of the line CG, done with Lightwave, and you know, this is kind of what the images looked like. So it was pretty good for its day. I mean, you know, considering like what was there, like it was Reboot and some really lame shows. Here's another one kind of from the same era. The I forget what it was called. Also kind of was a really revolutionary breakthrough in CG. All these movies kind of made the path to what we have today, and now we just take it for granted. But all these shows were kind of interesting builders that one over the other over time became you know, became the kind of the underpinnings of what we see today. This is gonna save, I think, still for a while. It shouldn't be that much. We should get it back. I hope it doesn't crash. If it crashes again, I'll call it a night. If things don't want to work, then they don't want to work. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a quick little break and go splash some cold water on my face. I'll be right back. So let me turn the music back on and turn this on. I'll be right back. Wow, that felt really good. Okay, we're back. This is back, so back to working. But yeah, CG definitely has come a long way, and if you really think about it, you know, the first Star Wars was in 1970, like late 70s, so 80s, 90s. It's been like 40 years. In 40 years, CG's kind of completely, there's so much that has happened in that time. It's ridiculous. All right, let's bring everything back, see what we got. Okay, this is looking better already, and then fix this a little bit. So you see this kind of low res, and I don't know why I'm doing it in high res. If I do this in low res, it works so much faster. All right, there it is. Okay, so that's looking okay. And what about the, so there's 4 of these. There's the 2 on the inside as well. I think this one's kind of the problem child. But easy to fix. I think this will be the hottest day I'm doing a stream. I don't think it'll be hotter than this ever. I think there were a few times that I was doing a stream where it was really hot too, but and unfortunately I don't have AC in my place. And if I do, if I turn it on, it would be too loud. I have a portable thing, but it's too loud. I kind of looked at the sound that it made, and it was just too much. Right, I'm kind of nitpicking here, but I just want to have it be right. Then there's this weird intersection over here. Let's see what I can do to fix that. Maybe bring this thing way out. Does that too for it from this direction? This is going to be a little bit of an adventure to fix, but not impossible. You know what's kind of interesting is when I watched the Star Wars or the Light and Magic show, just kind of how crappy things looked. I mean, I remember when I saw Star Wars, I saw it when it came out, and I was blown away. Like, I saw it so many times afterwards, and every time I was just like, oh my God, this is the best thing. This is so good. And now, you know, like I was just watching, and they were showing some of the issues with it, and like the mats where like the spaceships, there's like this black thing about them around them, you know, with the compositing and yeah, I mean, even editing, like editing was still done with like cutting tape or whatever, and just kind of seeing the pain that those guys had to go through to make that movie. I mean, it blew me away at the time, but it's, you know, it's so weak compared to today's CG and today's movies. But it still was a great movie. Like for the time, it was just really stupendous. And there's so many people who do what I do, including me, because of Star Wars. Star Wars and Blade Runner were the two movies or two shows that did it for me to kind of get into this field. But I've mentioned before, there are a lot of other shows too. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, you know, that's a very good point that you're making, Federico, which is that the new ones, I mean, even though they have all this technology, some of them are not you know, not any better. So it just, you know, being at the right place at the right time, I think that's the key. Like if Star Wars came out today, it wouldn't, you know, nobody would give a crap about it. Everybody would be like, wow, you know. But it's the timing. Timing is everything. All right, so that's looking like a lot better. I'm liking those a lot better. So if I get up close to it, it doesn't look as kind of wobbly as it did before. This is still kind of a little bit off. Right here. Okay. Now, I think I did a bunch of work on this guy over here. And I'll do it again. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, if you get a chance to, everybody watching this, definitely check out Light and Magic. It's a good show. It's 6 episodes, and they're all really good. I think the other thing that's really interesting about it is that it just shows you like how, you know, like how impossible it was. It seemed like how all these guys were just like, you know, just they had Space Odyssey 2001 as kind of an inspiration. And that technology was kind of, you know, moving cameras and models and lighting and whatever. So it just it's showing Dijkstra and his kind of the machines that he created and the cameras he kind of put together, and the way they kind of composited these things. It just was like so guerrilla, so primitive, so raw. And like if you know, like if we'd known they'd be doing all those things at the time, like I don't know if we'd be as impressed with the movie. But I think it also, one of the things that really stood out in the movie is showing how important Ralph McQuarrie's work was and his concepts. And so I think that's why there was this show. Like I kept imagining, you know, here's George Lucas, you know, did American Graffiti, did THX. Those are the two stories that movies that he did, and then like he's got to do this thing. Like he could have just, it would have been such an epic fail if he couldn't pull it off. But instead, it was just a definitely establishing kind of establishing movie. All right. Okay. Sorry, I keep kind of tweaking this, but it just needs to look right. And then I did some work over here that kind of doesn't seem to be translated over. I think this is kind of where the trouble started. So let me go back to it. And I think there were these little things that I wanted to make sure were part of the same subtool. So those are here. Here we go. Here they are. So it's these guys. Yep. Smudge these down. Yeah, so let's see. Oh, wow. Look, there's a lot of stuff. New ones are awesome. That's true. Yeah, they are. Well, the Lucas remaster, I think, you know, he just wanted to redo everything with the new technology. Just kind of, I think he did that more for himself than anybody else. They're not bad. Okay. Master of the time, yep. Which software it is? Abby Gaming. I don't know. Are you talking about the software I'm using? This is ZBrush. That's true, Sean. Good designs definitely go a long way. And man, did they do some amazing designs. I think the designs that they've done are still unmatched. Mandalorian was okay. I think that's definitely promising. They ended it with that. That's where kind of this show ended. And I mean, I'm not really spoiling anything. You guys can watch it. But basically, it ended with showing like how amazing the tech in Mandalorian is compared to. And they actually have a scene where George Lucas comes to visit the Mandalorian set and is just blown away. But what he says, which is really interesting, is that he kind of, that's what he wanted to do. Like that's what he foresaw. Like he basically had a good idea about that's what he wanted to achieve with his vision. And so it must be really cool for him to be able to see that happen under different directors, of course, but still. I bet he's pretty, you know, I mean, it's just one of these things where he's a filmmaker, and Star Wars is definitely the kind of the thing that he's known for. But I bet he probably would want to make either films or be known for something besides Star Wars. But he's forever married to it. That's what he's always going to be known for, is the Star Wars movies. Unless he just pulls a miracle and does this amazing new thing. But doing something in the scale of Star Wars with the significance of Star Wars is going to be a pretty amazing second act to do, and I don't know if it even can be done. Alright, I'm still trying to kind of get this thing to work. I've been working on this arm for quite a bit. Okay, yep, these are the things that I need to do over here. I remember I raised this up a bit, like so. And it's funny because I think, you know, even the person who created ZBrush, I think he was very influenced by Star Wars as well. All these things exist because of Star Wars. All these visions are happening because that movie did what it did. All right. I think there's still, you know, I mean, I don't think we're at the end of CG. I think there's still a lot more to come. Let's kind of flatten this out a bit. Again, it's, I'm really kind of, okay, I think this is looking a lot better. I think I did some work on this thing over here, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm kind of tired of working on this one leg. I'm going to move on to some other part here. So let's bring everything back and find some other interesting thing to do. What's this? Oh, where were these? Oh, they were up there. Okay. All right, let's see what else we can kind of work on. Oh, I don't want to work on Builders. Builders has a whole bunch of different old versions of balloons and whatnot. We don't want to do that. Okay, I think we did a bunch of work on this leg last time, so I'm going to leave that one alone. Let's see if there's anything I can do with this arm. Okay, so I'm going to hide the hanging arms. I'm going to hide the legs and just leave this. I think this kind of looks cool in its own, like some sort of a flying machine. This over here has always been messy, so I'm going to try and see if I can find a good Kitbash part to replace that with. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? You know, am I being not too loud? All right. This is again JRO Jonas something RO. I forget his name. This is his Kitbash kit. Okay, thanks about the sound. All right, and I'm just looking to see if there's anything I can replace that shoulder joint with that kind of looks really, I think I've pushed and pulled it way too much. This is really cliche. I could use this. Let's try that. Let's start with that. And sometimes a cliche thing will definitely help. Oh, you know. All right. So I loaded all the parts from this. So there's duplicates here, and that's why it's going to take too long for things to save. So if you guys don't mind a minute here, let me just go in and do a quick cleanup. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that as well. I'm going to keep this. Also 300. Oops, sorry. And then this one is a duplicate, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Delete all. And yeah, I'm just going to lighten up my scene so when it does an autosave, it doesn't take like a week. Okay, so this one is a unique thing. So there's a 300 here and there is 300 here. So I don't need both of these. So this one can go delete all as well. Okay, and I'm going to bring my visible count to 8 just because I don't have enough, as much screen real estate as I usually do. And this one here is a duplicate. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to leave it for now. I know this one for a fact is. So delete all. Right, and then this one is a duplicate, delete all. This one over here, this 300 is duplicate, but I'm using that one. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is the whole Mech. Okay, yeah, we don't want to delete that. For sure, we don't want to delete that. So there's 2 of these. I'll get rid of one of them. How about this one right here? Or how about this one? 12. I guess it doesn't matter. Let's get rid of the 13 one. Okay, that's good. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Z-sphere 1. I don't need this one either. Delete all. And yeah, so I've got pretty much. I don't need this one. Oh, I don't know why this came up. Right, let's see. Okay, so I've got this. Okay, so now I think I'm back to normal. And while I am back to normal here, I'm just going to, so I don't lose any of the work that I did, I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick save, a little like right over here. and answer some questions, see if what you guys are doing. Wow, really big number of people watching now. Another thing that sucks about it being hot is I can't make tea. It'll be too hot to drink tea at this time, so I have to just have water instead. I guess I can make myself a cocktail, but it's too late in the game for that. Okay, so we got another hour to go, so hopefully we can kind of fix up these two arms. I think I'm going to focus on that. I guess iced tea. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of iced tea. I don't know why. But yeah, this shouldn't take as long, obviously, because it's got less parts. But I think it's a good idea to save it at this point. While that's happening, let's kind of look at some more of these Rico's Roughneck stuff. Yeah, I mean, I remember, like, I used to drool over how good these looked. I mean, like, look at that, right? Like, look at this image. Oh, it's on Apple TV. That's wild. I did not know that. But yeah, in the day, I thought this was a very, very cool stuff. Like, you know, look at the faces. They're so bad compared to what is out today. Like, even Clone Wars is better, right? And that's pretty low res. Okay. This is almost done. I wonder if there's a way to kind of have a program save in the background and continue. You can continue to work. So you just say, okay, this is the state. Just, you know, kind of completely fork off and save it, and then come back to it. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to worry about any of the hull stuff because a lot of that's hidden, but I am going to fix this thing right here, which I don't know why over time it started to looking worse and worse. It looks like just a horrible dinged up piece. And I guess I could get away with it if it was rubber, but it's not. So I need to put something in there. I think I'd found a piece. I'm going to expand this out. Make sure this is selected and do a paste. And unify that thing somehow, and also start moving it into place. So this is kind of really cliche piece for where I'm going to put it, but I might make some changes to it. And I think the initial piece for there was okay, but over time it just got really warped up. And again, there's something to be said about using better Kitbash parts. And these ones are really good ones, whereas the cable ones that I had were kind of okay. But you do a little bit of changing, and you get kind of this type of effect. Oh, don't want to resize. Let's see if this looks any better. It kind of does. And sometimes if you just go with something generic, it looks a lot better. All right, so let's go ahead and pick that one over here. And I'm just going to hide it for now because I might want to go back to it at some point. Now let's go back to here. Yeah, this is looking a lot better already. I mean, I obviously need to do some tweaking, but this is looking better. Smear it. Yeah, that's adding some interesting visual elements. Let's make sure I've got symmetry on. Yeah, that's adding some interesting visual elements that kind of... And what's nice about this is, again, since it's low res, I can do some... Yeah, no, I kind of like the circular orbital kind of look of it. But I kind of have to figure out a way to fuse it into the arm. So that looks good there. It doesn't look bad from the... I got to fix this area over here, so maybe I can just pop in another Kitbash part there. All right. in a bit. Do that. Yeah, I think this kind of works over here. Maybe I can lift this whole thing up. Oh, why isn't it working? I'm on the wrong brush. All right. Oh, I bet, like, you know, I mean, those guys that did it in Lightwave, I bet they worked their asses off. Like I said, I have a friend who's an amazing moto artist, who I should definitely connect with again. I haven't talked to him for a while. But yeah, he basically is an amazing moto artist, and he was a great Lightwave artist, and he did work on that show. I think at Zoic. Zoic was the company that did that show, and he worked there. I mean, Zoic does other stuff now, but yeah. He's worked on some good shows. I think today's whole thing was a motivation for me to get a hold of him and meet with him again, now that the pandemic's kind of relaxed out a bit. At least in LA. Alright, so this part here is kind of sticking out. I need to figure out something to do with it, but that's not a big deal. Actually, do I even see that part? Let's see, let's bring everything back and see if that's kind of obstructed. Like, this is kind of a weird transition over here, but I might not need to worry about that at all. So now it's not doing anything for it. I wonder if the legs will. All right, I'm going to change this count back to 12 and legs. Yeah, no, the legs don't do anything for it. Okay, so I have to figure it out. I mean, the balloons from the back will kind of cover it up, but again, if I 3D print this, people will see it. So I probably can make this part a little bit bigger. That did it. Hide the legs. Yeah, I think it did it for the back part, but there's still a little bit over here, so I'll do it for there too. And does this change the front profile at all? Nope, it's way back there. Yeah, it does a little bit. But not enough to cause any problems. I can probably just shore this up all the way to here. And let's turn this polyframe off so I can see what I'm doing. All right, that's good enough. And then this kind of kind of ties into it that way. And then of course that's not subdivided, but when it does get subdivided, it'll be okay. So yeah, this kind of new thing looks a little bit better, but it is definitely the way the entire Kitbash thing is, so it could be recognizable. So I need to go in here and make some changes to it. So let me see if I can insert an edge loop here, and I can. That's awesome. And then let's just pull this, polygroup this. So make sure it's happening over there too. That's good. And then let's add one more here and polygroup that, a different polygroup. And I'm going to Q mesh this up. Polygroup island, pull this out, and pull this out like that. And then I just want to, oops. Maybe pop a couple of these in like that. There we go. All right, so that makes them a little bit more interesting. And again, I can dynamically subdivide this. And then I'll put something else in the middle here. Then that'll make them a bit more exciting. I kind of like this area here because it kind of gives me an idea of that these arms can go up as well if needed. All right, so I'm going to solo that again, and I'm going to insert BI. And let's see, where's that brush? There's a brush here that ZBrush ships with that has some really cool parts right here. Let's see if this one works. Kind of does, but it's kind of cliche, so I'm not going to do that one. How about this one? Here. That's good. I'm going to slap it down a bit. That's too. I think I'm just going to leave it as is, but move it in. All right, there we go. So now it looks completely different than the kind of the basic Kitbash part. And if I dynamically subdiv it, it looks pretty good. All right, let's do that for this. And the back I'm just going to leave as is. I don't care because the balloons are going to be there and it doesn't look too bad. But that definitely gave it a more interesting look than what we had before. So that is working. All right. So that's working. This cable here is kind of weird. Is this all one piece? It is. Jeez. All right. So there's some stuff I can get rid of. I can get rid of whatever this is. Here, let's turn polyframe on, do a little bit of cleanup. Delete island. I don't need that. I'm going to take a big risk here and delete this whole cable. Let's see what that did to everything. It was nice that it was there, but it wasn't a good cable. Let me see if I can salvage it. I'm just going to take this and select it and split hidden. So now I can just work on these cables by themselves. What is going on here? Oh, they've got this weird feature on them. That's wild. Okay. I choose paint. All right, I'm just adding some girth to this. Trying to see if I can salvage it. If I can, that'd be cool. So if we can move it into this ring. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. All right, let's see. Careful when you print, make sure your faces aren't inverted because it will take the holes in the model and print. Oh, yeah. Yeah, usually I definitely kind of, thanks for that. I usually kind of do a cool quality check before I commit it to print. But usually I'll use like some, cheap resin just to do some test prints before I do the official full-on print. And I have to also separate it out into separate parts. This isn't going to go into the printer as one thing. So I have to really figure out how to break it up so it prints well. All right, so this top cable is looking a little bit better. It kind of looks sausagey over here, so let me see if I can do a little bit more. And this thing's kind of looking wobbly too, so. I don't think I spent any time on this arm. I think this is the least arm. This is the part that I spent the least amount of time on, and it shows. All right. It's going to be making battle damage on cloth, but it's sucks when it's on hard surface. Yeah. You want to learn ZBrush. What do you need? Time and patience. And there's so many tools to learn ZBrush. There's so many tutorials out there, like so many. It's almost impossible to, not find one. I highly recommend. There's a few that I recommend that I really like. I like Maddie Spencer's Gnomon Workshop on ZBrush. I think she does a really good job of teaching ZBrush, so that's really a good place to learn. And then it also another thing you might want to consider doing if you're learning ZBrush is figuring out what you want to do. There's the basics, right? But then if you want to do stylistic stuff, you can kind of maybe take Shane Olson's classes. If you're going to do illustrative stuff, you can take Pablo's class. So there's a lot of materials out there. So if you want to learn ZBrush, it's not going to be hard to find a good tutorial. But even if you do, it's not going to be like magic where you're just going to wake up one day and know ZBrush. It's not like the Matrix, for sure. Yeah, that thing isn't going to work, so it's going to go away. All right, let's see. So yeah, thing is, be patient. Start small. Make some projects for yourself, and take the time. I think maybe this thing here is going to go too. Yeah, we can get rid of it. It's funny, a lot of the things that made that these arms cool. When they inserted the cable are kind of. I'm fighting those now, so I'm actually going to get rid of them. It's so wild where this thing started and where it is now. And this happens a lot too, by the way, is that you start out with something and have a certain perspective and it becomes something else. And it happens in production too, by the way. Like projects start out with a certain level of ambition or a certain level of vision, and then over time, people chime in and things change. And deadlines become looming, so things have to get done, and that's when, some things kind of don't go the way that they were intended on going in the beginning. All right, I'm just going to move this thing over a bit and inflate it. I mean, I could just do away with this whole arm, but I kind of like it. So, depending on what the weather is like, if it's really hot, and I don't want to really kind of start rendering and kind of getting my CPU getting really hot and my processor getting really hot, if I get to the rendering point and the weather hasn't cooled off, I might not do the rendering of this thing and postpone it and start on another project. And by the way, the next thing I'm thinking of doing, I'll show you guys what it is. So here in my Instagram, and by the way, you guys should follow me on Instagram if you want to see my newer stuff. So the latest things I've been working on are these AI things. So these are not generated by AI, but the parts of it are generated by AI. So I basically do like maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 AI images. And then from those 40 images, I choose pieces that I like and then I composite them. So then what I can do is I can make these in ZBrush. So I want to make her in ZBrush at some point, and I also want to make him in ZBrush at some point. So these two are going to be one of my next project is going to be one of these two. Most probably this one right here. This one's kind of compelling too, but I think I like this result a lot better. So having this as a 3D model will be a nice challenge. So I might just start on that before I do the rendering of this thing. All right, so the arm is looking a little bit better. I think this piece right here that we put in is a little bit way too big for this arm. So I'm going to see if I can get away with making it a little bit smaller. And I already can see that I can't, just because it's going to start showing up pieces that I have to fix, that I don't want to fix. Let's see, I'm going to give it one more try. Nope, it has to be big. All right, so since that's big, I mean, it kind of works because the arm's kind of flat. I think it's okay. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. There we go. That actually made a big difference right there. At least from this angle. Oh yeah, there we go. Here we go. That fixed it right there. I just need to make these pieces a little bit more kind of flush with it. And push this cable back in this way. Yeah, this cable's kind of an interesting one because it's kind of wobbly, but I think it might just work. All right. Hey, Juan, thank you very much. Natish, yes, you do need ZBrush. Everybody needs ZBrush. Everybody who's an artist needs ZBrush. I'm just kidding. If you like working this way, you definitely do. I know a lot of artists that hate ZBrush as well. But I know a lot of artists that hate Maya and love ZBrush. So it depends on kind of how you like to work and what kind of work you do. ZBrush is my favorite tool of choice. I mean, it's my favorite CG tool, bar none. There's nothing that compares to ZBrush at all for me. Like if I just had to have one tool to use for CG, ZBrush would be that tool. But I can understand if some people, okay, so here I'm just going to use topological because I want to move this piece, but not the other piece. So topological will just kind of limit me to just moving that one. Here we go. Now that I've got this round thing, it kind of looks cool, but this is covering it up. So I wonder if I could change the gesture of it. I think it's kind of too, well, let's give it a try. Top arms, no, I'm not going to mess with that right now. I think it's okay if I'm looking at it like this, I can see what I'm wanting to see. Yeah, patience is definitely a big thing. Elbow cough. All right, I don't know what you're saying there, but I don't know if you're telling me that the elbow doesn't look good or if it does look good, or I can't break your cryptic message. All right, so this is going this way. I think I'm just going to See, these rings are kind of cool, but it's going to take a lot for me to match them, but I think I can do it. Let's see. This one got really kind of inflated for some reason, so I need to deflate it. There we go. What's kind of funny is that this arm that I'm working on right now was kind of a superstar not too long ago, and now it's a problem child. But it'll get there. I don't know if I need this thing. I think it's safe to delete those inside things right now, so I'm just going to delete those. Okay, and these guys right here. I think I'm going to try and see what happens if I hide them. Oh yeah, we don't need them. They can I use them somewhere else? Let's see here for a minute. Yeah, they kind of work on the inside, so I'm going to keep them there. Here we go. That added some nice girth to that arm, but did it hide some detail that I wanted to show? It did. That's fine. Move it in a bit, turn it this way. There we go. That works from this angle, but it's kind of not working here. All right. Let me see if I can just bring this all the way up to here. But not there. Oh, you see something here? I think this thing here, this arm here, could use a little bit of gestural change. Let's unhide that thing too so I can see it. Okay. All right, so I'm just kind of assuming that this is just going to close up kind of like a mechanical piece. It's just going to close up and grip something round. You know, this is kind of one of those reasons I talk to my students a lot about, and I'm kind of doing the thing I tell them not to do, which is I started this thing without really having a purpose for it. Like I just went off what the AI did and just went for a pretty object. And this is why we still are going to need artists, and AI is really not going to matter, is because I really kind of needed to think of a purpose for this thing before I made it. And if I had that purpose, a lot of it would have driven the design that I'm working on. But right now I'm just basically shooting in the dark, just trying to get some interesting shapes, which is fine. I mean, that's a good exercise. Like, nothing I'm doing right now is a waste of time. Everything that I'm doing is definitely... if nothing else, teaching me what not to do. But if I had an idea that this was picking up something specific, then I can definitely position these pieces in a way where they are kind of more pertinent to that purpose. All right. That arm looks a little bit better than it did before. It's still kind of a little bit of a challenge. It looks like it's really thin over here. I don't know how I'm going to add girth to it. I might go up a little bit more this way. Here's me taking a big risk. Turn topological off. Hopefully all these will move together. Nope. Well, this is the one that's got it girth up. So, there we go. And then I'll have to move that cable again, but that's fine. And with that girth, I'm intersecting this. So I'm kind of keeping I'm dancing around a really delicate thing right now. But I completely buried this cable right here. That looks a little bit better, but still not doing it for me. I'm going to make my life easier and get rid of this ring thing. I know I messed around with it quite a bit. I think I'm just going to kind of causing more problems than the feature that it's introducing. Why isn't this selecting? Select. Come on. Oh. Like, why isn't it moving? I'm on Damien Standard. Okay. All right. Like a bicep. Yeah, I mean, I don't want this to be more... I think I see what you're trying to say. But I'm trying to stay away from having this be more humanoid and have it be like some sort of robotic thing. All right, I think that is working a bit better. I'm still not 100% happy. I'll probably be banging at this thing for a while until I get it to where I want it to be. But I'm pretty close to kind of not wanting to mess with it for a while. So I'm gonna get it just to a decent enough state and just leave it, and then attack it maybe off camera or maybe on camera next time. I don't know. All right, let's look at this one on top. This one on top actually isn't too bad. Like, this part is really good. It just needs a little bit of polish. This kind of transition here is kind of a little bit funky. Oops. Over here, let's fix that. Sometimes it helps to just solo it out and fix it as its own thing. There we go. I think this one doesn't really need a lot of work. I think it's pretty good as is. What's this piece over here? Like super low res. Oh, this is the thing inside of it, right? This is another one of those things where I should just move this to the builders. Where are you? Here you are. Because initially this is kind of how we started out, is just with these pieces like this one, but we kind of went the other way. All right, so this one definitely needs something over here. Let me see what I can get away with if I can inflate this. So as you can see, this is kind of the same piece that I was working on before, but I haven't really mucked this one up as badly. But I'm going to see if I can inflate this area to get something better. Yeah, that worked. Maybe not on top. Something like that. And then this bottom part, I think could use a little bit of polish. It's pretty rough. I really like the way these pieces look, by the way. Like this little thing that happened over here is very, very successful. At least to my taste. Right. Yeah, I kind of really like the way that this is kind of doing this little gesture. And I don't want to mess it up at all. So I'm just going to leave that piece be and then just move this a little bit to work with it. Topological again, I just want to inflate this cable just a smidge. Why is this not? Oh, here we go. All right. The brush UI, are you talking about this stuff over here? This isn't even all my brushes. Like, look at this. And this is not even all my brushes either. I've got like folders full of them. One thing about ZBrush is there is definitely not a shortage of amazing brushes out there. This weird shit over here. What is that? Pardon my French. What is this little gunk over here? That needs to go away. All right, let's see if I can figure out. I think that's kind of the lettering and stuff. I think I got rid of that stuff in previous episode, but it's just going to be interesting to get an angle at which I can attack it. All right, let's just do this. Shift A, that, here we go. I just was able to isolate it there. Yeah. All right, I know what to do. So let's just get Control Z back until it's there. Control A, split hidden to another subtool, and now I can just go in and get rid of it. Adios. All right. Yeah, those are the kind of things where if I went to 3D printed, that would have caused an issue. So glad I caught that stuff before. All right, so this is working really well, both from the inside and the outside. Here, I'm just going to isolate these top arms, and so that's all I'm looking at. Fix this kind of from the inside. So basically these are just, you know, kind of, these are more rigid pieces and the inside part is kind of more malleable. And it uses some sort of hydraulic system to move the arms. So it's not mechanical, it's more hydraulic. It could also be like some sort of liquid magnetic as well. Okay. Yeah, this one's kind of a little bit better. I'm a lot happier with this one than the previous one I was working with. I mean, it might get really bad where I just completely do that previous one, but probably not. I think there's enough, I think there's salvageable stuff in there. All right, let's just do a little bit of clip curving on this to get some straights. I'm going to be really careful about how much I bend this because it could break the kind of the rigidity of it. All right, I know you guys have been saying stuff and I haven't been paying attention. I apologize. I'm going to go back to it. Oh, no. Nothing new. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're getting there. All right, so I think I'm going to, well, let me try and do something else here. I wonder what happens if I push this in. So, all right, so from this angle, this is looking pretty solid, like from this distance. When I get a little bit closer, there's a little bit of wobbliness here that I need to fix and get some kind of tighter angles on. But I think this arm has got all the different things that it needs, so this should not be a big deal. This will be like maybe 10-15 minutes more of work, and it will be where I want it to be. This one is pretty much done. I have to figure out something to do with this area and this bottom part, but it's pretty much done as well, so that's always good. And then this one is the problem child one. I'll have to kind of refigure this one out, so I'm going to spend some time on this, either on camera next time or afterwards. And with the legs, they're mostly done. I think this area over here, I need to kind of figure out what's going on with that. But all this upper part is looking good enough. I probably need to do something with this little joint over here, and this part over here is gonna have some sort of material applied to it. That's good. The hull is pretty much done. I don't think I need to do anything else with the hull, except maybe put some lights and stuff in these areas, little things that kind of poke out. All right, so then after all that is done, then we got to kind of think about a color scheme and start painting this thing. And then once we're done painting, then basically we're going to go ahead and do just render it. All right. So in the kind of the interest of time, I'm going to try and kind of get some compositional perspectives of this by doing, let's turn perspective on. Let's just do some renders. Let's just do some non-photorealistic stuff. See if we can get some good results. And then we'll close it up there. It's amazing how the number of viewers goes up doing these things. So that's kind of not too bad of a render, just kind of as a proof of concept kind of thing. But let's go ahead and go into filters here and do some non-photorealistic stuff. And let's bump this down to 2 lines. Didn't turn out too good. And I don't know, like some of these you have to have a certain document size for them to look decent. So I'm going through some of these options, see if there's one that's going to be interesting. Yeah, there you go. That's kind of cool. Like maybe this is something that you'll see like in a monitor when you're looking at it. It's kind of a good effect. I like this one a lot, but I don't know why they chose this green color for it. I think, did I go back? I did. There's some new ones in this. This is kind of interesting where it's got these hash marks. Let's see what this one does. This one's kind of interesting as well. All right, I'll do a couple more. These are always good because they kind of give me ideas. I'll always kind of in the middle of things stop and do a few of these just to kind of get an idea of some options. And then I've got my own as well that I can use. Oh, that didn't work. This one's kind of lame. How about this one? This one's kind of cool. I can probably work with this a little bit to add some detail to it. So I kind of like the way it's kind of like this. But I could probably do a little bit more work to it. So let me just go into the render palette here and go to BPR filters. And let's see if I can turn on a filter here that's going to give me an outline maybe. There, that's looking pretty good. So that kind of looks like a, like a painting. See if I can get another good angle. Let's see if I go at it this way, what that's going to look like. Yeah, these filters are great, Sean. They are. By the way, my monitor isn't huge. It's a 27-inch. I don't really have a big monitor. Somebody was mentioning that. I kind of like 27-inch. I think that's kind of a good, perfect size. Okay, so that's, nope, do that. Okay, I'm going to do it from this angle. Let's go for this angle right here. I should connect up my Space Mouse because Space Mouse is the best thing to use to get a good angle. Much better than a mouse and much better than a tablet for that specific purpose. All right, here we go. All right, and maybe make my cavity greater. Yep, that looks good. I'm going to hide the balloon for now. I'm just going to go for the Mech. Go for this kind of a composition. Let's see what that looks like. And yep, that's it right there. I will save an image of this while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to do a JPEG of it. Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of interesting. Even though I haven't really done anything to it, it kind of gives me a good idea of what's working and what's not. Like these little things I added work. This round thing I still am not sure about. Just like I'm not sure about this whole arm. I mean, it's kind of a cool, it adds cool aspects to the design. But this big round thing that I added, I don't know. I don't know if it's working. Like, that would be cool if it was some sort of propelling type of thing, but just for a kind of a base for this arm, I don't think it's working. So it's probably going to be gone by next time. But I've got that one render. Let's do a render on the side, maybe kind of like this, 3/4. Let's see what that looks like. I don't have to do a JPEG, by the way. I just did a JPEG because, I mean, these aren't going to be like in any magazines or any books or anything. I mean, I'm doing that to kind of remind me. That's a neat angle. You don't have to have it be a JPEG at all. So when you go to export, you can choose a different file format. So you can choose a Photoshop file, PNG, BMP, or TIFF. So, you know, if you save it as a PNG, you don't really lose much. And that works. And that's not bad. That's not a bad angle either. Kind of like in a cartoon or something. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's looking good. I'm kind of really happy with it. There's going to be a little bit of refinements done soon. And once those refinements are done, we're done with modeling. We'll start painting this thing and maybe adding some surface noise in certain areas just to kind of give it a little bit more visual interest. And then it's off to rendering and 3D printing. So yeah. Yeah, no, you can export. It's not JPEG only. I mean, JPEG is, of course, the one that's going to take the least amount of space on your hard drive and load and save fast. But you can do PNGs, you can do TIFFs, you can do all sorts of stuff. All right, so before I end this, I'm going to do one more render kind of from this angle, and then we'll call it a night. But yeah, for those of you that have stuck on, thanks for joining me. It was fun to spend this really hot LA evening with you guys. Again, I'm going to be on not next Friday, but the Friday after. Hopefully having done a little bit more work on this. And then if I have time, of course, I have Monday off, so I might spend some time on it then. Yeah, so I'll see you in a couple of Fridays, everybody. So have a great day, night, whatever time of day it is where you are. And happy ZBrushing.